Hello and welcome to the Carousel of Douglas. A lot of you might have noticed that my channel name has now changed. I decided it was time to make the channel's name more aligned with what I'm using it for, which is to make Disney videos, and I absolutely adore the Carousel of Progress. So I named the channel Carousel of Douglas in honor of that amazing ride that actually Walt Disney himself had a hand in. Now let's get on with our video today. As you may have noticed, today's video is about our day 2 in Disney from back in September when we went right around Labor Day. And I'm really excited to be able to talk to you about our day in Epcot. But before I get there, I have to tell you about our stay at the Holiday Inn Disney Springs. Now, Michelle and I talked about it in our previous video, and you should check that out. The link is down below in the doobly-doo. But I couldn't believe how great that hotel was. And it's one of the Disney Good Neighbor hotels. I have never stayed in a Disney Good Neighbor hotel. I've always stayed on Disney property, and I was impressed. It was awesome. And let's not forget that it was only 2,465 feet from Disney Springs. That was in their advertisement, by the way, and I thought that was hysterical that it said that. And they weren't wrong. Michelle and I actually got up early in the morning, checked out, and walked down the street to Disney Springs. And then it was right there by that bridge that crosses over the water and then heads to Saratoga Springs. We were able to take our bags to Bell Services and head off to Epcot. Again, before we head off to Epcot, I got to tell you a little bit something about transportation. If you haven't really heard yet, the buses are doing a very strange thing. It's to keep people social distance, they can have people standing on the bus, and they have these numbered zones throughout the bus, and they send parties to those zones based on how many people are in the group or how many people they have on the bus. And it helps keep people separated while they're sitting on the bus. The problem is that the buses fill up very fast. And if you see a bus that says Jiminy Cricket on it, that's because that bus is full and there's no more people allowed to get on it. Just to tell you a little story, when we got there, we were heading to Epcot, but we got there way earlier than we actually intended. The walk did not take us as long from the hotel to Saratoga Springs as we thought. So as we got to the bus stop, and a group of people had been there since 8:30, hoping to make it to Hollywood Studios before 10 so they could get a rise resistance boarding pass. And by the way, I'm gonna have a video that tells you later on some of my tips and tricks for getting a boarding pass, because I was able to get one this trip when we went to Hollywood Studios later. They literally were still sitting there at 10:15 because Saratoga Springs is a huge resort. It has multiple bus stops, and the last stop is the one near the lobby, and buses just kept bypassing it. And they did not leave for Hollywood Studios until 10:15, well after the boarding passes were given out. So just a little tip, if you're taking the bus or you needed to go to Hollywood Studios right now and you want to be there before 10, it might be in your best interest to take an Uber or a Lyft instead. Unfortunately, there's no minivans right now. I do hope they bring that service back. It was pretty awesome. Before we head over to Epcot one last time, I want to give you a quick tour of our room. Now, the tour I did was actually at night when we got back, but I figured since I'm talking about Saratoga Springs now, it's a good place to put it in. So here's the video. Oh, and have fun laughing at me trying to open the sliding screen door at the end. Oh man, that was sad. It was just sad. Anyway, but enjoy the room tour. Check it out. Nice raindrop shower, rainfall shower in there. Wow, look at that. Fancy. Kitchenette over here, I showed you that. Bathroom sink. Hi everybody. Nice big closet. Air conditioning thing. Tired wife. Having a good day. All right. Queen size bed. Looks like plenty of USB chargers and plugs right next to the bed. Like that. This is a Murphy bed. I love the fact that the television is on Resort TV 1 and playing Fantasia. Newly renovated room, hardwood floors. This is the view out of our room. Eventually I'll figure out how to open it. Or not. Oh, there we go. I got it. So there's the view out of our room. That's the walkway to Disney Springs. And there's the boat landing for Disney Springs. So we're literally the last room before Disney Springs. And there you go. That's our room. Okay, finally off to Epcot. So we get on the bus. We're one of the only people on the bus because we were there really early, like I said. And the very first Epcot bus showed up and it was empty, and we got on it and headed to the park, just the two of us. So we get to Epcot, and walking up, there was really no people there yet, but we walked straight through the health screening. It was totally simple. Is zip zap, they check your temperature, say thank you, see you bye, and it's all good. The next thing, I'm not actually allowed to film security, so I just want to tell you about it. This new thing needs to stay. So you take anything metal out of your bags and you literally hold it in front of you like this. And when you hold it in front of you like that, they see it and then you walk through, and you set off the sensor with those things, and then if you have anything past the sensor, it lets them know, and then they search you if they need to. So it is so much faster than the old bag check. That was way, way better. Disney, please keep the new security check. That was so much easier. One of the next things I want to highlight is a little bit of an extra that if you have the ability to do so, I highly recommend it. And that's buying the special edition Magic Bands that are specifically for parks. A lot of times they do really cool things in their specific park. Michelle and I have the Epcot 35 Magic Band that has the Figment on the side. And we also have the Farewell Illuminations Magic Band that was the year that they stopped doing illuminations, and we were able to pick up both of those. And they're pretty awesome. And they have this little extra magic at the turnstiles in Epcot, be it the Fast Pass spots or the ticket entry windows. You just tap your Magic Band to the turnstile and it does something cool. Check out what they do. Yeah, I love it. The cast members sometimes are surprised about it too, and I love them always being like, "Ooh, I like that one," because it just makes you feel a little extra special. So if you get a special edition Magic Band for a specific park, you won't regret it. They're pretty awesome. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is just walking in to Epcot. Here we are in my favorite park of all time, Epcot. Woohoo! Oh, I cannot wait to have a day today. You could totally hear how giddy I was. Now, the next thing I want to play for you is, if you haven't heard it yet, there is an announcement that runs to the parks, and it's spoken by one of my favorite voices of all time in Disney, the guy I call the thank you guy. And he does such a great job delivering it. I wish it was a different message, but this plays about every 15 to 20 minutes. Check it out. Please One thing I want to add is that announcement now has an extra piece to it now. I'm recording this in late October, right before Halloween, and that message now says, if you do not comply, they will remove you from the park. So Michelle and I go into Future World, and the very first thing we do is walk over to the Land Pavilion. We love the Land Pavilion. Garden Grill, Sunshine Seasons, Living with the Land, Soarin', all in the same place. We love the Land Pavilion, so we head straight for the Land Pavilion, and we literally walk on Soarin'. I mean, we walked into the queue, walked down everything being empty, turned every corner, still empty, walked straight up to the gate, and then, awesomely enough, we got the best seats in the house. I'll let myself explain it to you. The best row in all of Soarin'. Right there. B1. So we get into our seats and we're off, hang gliding around the world. Now, I gotta say that I have to be honest, I do actually kind of like soaring over California a little bit better, but you know, soaring over the world with the Smellitzers is great. I love all the scenes, and you know, I understand why they did a little bit of that CGI and added that in there, and it was pretty cool to see all those extra things like the animals and the new scents that they added into for Soarin' Over the World. My only complaint is that why on earth did they do a completely CGI Taj Mahal? I mean, the lavender scent's awesome, or the jasmine scent, whichever it is, I'm not 100% sure, but why didn't they just pick somewhere that, you know, existed? Taj Mahal said, no, you can't film it. So film something else. There's plenty of beautiful things. Go to the city of Prague. Go somewhere. I mean, the Great Wall of China is awesome, and that's real. And yeah, they added some other stuff in there, and you can see Monument Valley, and that's pretty awesome. So do something real next time, Disney, okay? You don't need to put a 100% CGI thing in there just because someone said no. But other than that, I'll let you see what Michelle and I thought of it when we got off. As we walk out of Soarin' and get some opinions here, first ride, I have never walked onto Soarin' straight through the queue. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Faster than any fast pass has ever been.
Yeah, and like, I've never done that. And it was incredible to be the first ride of the day on Soarin'. Loved it, loved it. The next ride we immediately did was Living with the Land. And again, we walked straight onto it, walked onto the boats, rode the ride, went all the way around the greenhouses. Now, I gotta tell you, I love Living with the Land. I have done the behind the scenes tour 4 or 5 times because I love Living with the Land. And the ride itself is just awesome. It shows you great conservation efforts, and it actually shows that they're doing them and what they're doing with them. And as you travel through all the areas, you get to see some really cool things. And for some reason, I have never gone through there and not seen something new. And that's the best part about it, is that it's always changing because it's a greenhouse. So if you haven't ridden Living with the Land, you gotta do it. Check it out. Now, I've already kind of hit on this with a Characters in 2020 video. I'll put a link and it's gonna pop up right now. All right, and that video is about all the character interaction that you can have in the parks, and it's pretty awesome. But when we stepped out of the land, there was Joy behind the fence and interacting with some kids, and those kids were so excited to see her, and she interacted with me, and she interacted with Michelle, and she was great. Joy was just awesome. We got to see a princess cavalcade, and they were all really, really interactive as well, and then we got to see Mickey and Friends in a cavalcade. Those cavalcades were awesome, and you started getting used to it. The ambient music would just change, and then out comes the cavalcade. And it was really kind of cool to see that. Now, with Joy, she was just kind of there. Same with Mary Poppins, and there's a couple others that do that too, but those are the ones that we got to see. So check out the character cavalcades. Now, one of the really cool things is that I have a number of friends from my experiences throughout my life that live in Orlando. And one of them named Daryl, he actually works for Disney. He's a cast member. He was actually able to join us the day we were in Epcot. So he wanted to go to Food and Wine with us because we have never done Food and Wine. And having someone to be able to go with us who's done it before and could kind of give us the ins and outs is great. Michelle and I already decided what we were going to eat, and I did a whole review on that, and I'm going to put that link in right now. There it is. And what you want to do is check that one out to see the full review, but I got to tell you that we really enjoyed it. It was really hard to make selections as to what we were going to eat because there's so much to choose from, but I think the ones we did choose were exactly what we needed that day, and that was awesome. While we were waiting for Daryl, though, it was pretty cool. One of my big things is I love other Disney vloggers, and this is the whole reason I got into it, is because I've seen so many vloggers that I enjoy watching, and I happened to run into one, and their name is Sutton Stops, and I'll put a link to their channel down in the doobly-doo, and Sutton Stops actually asked me to do their tagline. That was a lot of fun. I'll also tag the video that I did that in. You can check that out. That's something I've always wanted to do, and it was so cool to be able to do it for somebody. And their tagline was, Sutton Stops make the best adventures. So that was a lot of fun and a little bit of a plug there for Sutton Stops. So thanks a lot for letting me be in that video. I appreciated that. One of the things we got really lucky with while we were there in Epcot was the weather. Oh, it was gorgeous. It wasn't that hot that day. It was deathly hot pretty much every other day we were down there, but that day it actually wasn't bad. There was intermittent cloud cover. The only problem we had with the weather that day was there were 2 random thunderstorms that dumped so much rain it wasn't funny. And I'm not talking about Orlando rain. Yeah, it rains every day. We know that. But we're talking about unusually quick Orlando rain that you saw glide across the lagoon and made us have to run for cover twice. It was nuts. But other than that, though, it was gorgeous. I mean, I have this great shot from the UK Pavilion looking out over the World Showcase Lagoon, and then another great shot of the weather as the Skyliner goes past. That is so awesome to look at. And then from Italy, again, I got a great shot again across the lagoon. The fluffy clouds was very picturesque and gorgeous. The weather that day, we couldn't have asked for better. I mean, minus the 2 thunderstorms, of course, but hey, you can't ask for perfection. As we made our way around the World Showcase, we finally got over to Frozen and we got on that ride. And I gotta tell you, I was a huge Maelstrom fan. I loved Maelstrom. But now I have a nostalgic connection to Frozen Ever After. My wife and I got very, very lucky. The day it opened, if you remember, it was hitting 360-minute wait. And Michelle and I happened to go. And that night was an extra magic hour in the park. And please, Disney, bring those back. I loved extra magic hours. Please make sure they come back. I know right now it's hard, but when things get back to normal, that would be my #1 request. I love walking the World Showcase at night with my wife, holding her hand, just having a romantic stroll. Oh, I just love it. Sorry, I digress. But I loved Maelstrom, but I got to ride Frozen Ever After the day it opened. I've never gotten to do that all of my time in Disney. I got to ride the day it opened. And I got to ride that without actually having to wait in that 360-minute line because it had just reopened from breaking down, and I happened to be walking past it, and they're like, hey, we're reopened, and Michelle and I just beelined right onto it. We got to ride it opening day. That was so cool. So I kind of have a nostalgic hold for that ride, and I actually really love it. It's well done. The music is perfect. It transitions great. I love the fact that you have the snow geese and marshmallow in there. Oh, I love it. So if you get a chance to ride Frozen Ever After and you haven't before, just marvel at the animatronics. They're just incredible, especially Olaf. Just a great set of animatronics on that. So check that out. Frozen Ever After. I know, sad to see Maelstrom go, but you got to see it. After we got done with Norway, my wife really needed to go to the Mexico Pavilion. Why? Well, La Cava del Tequila, of course. They have the world's best margarita, the top shelf margarita. It has a great flavor. The tequila is perfect, and it's a nice añejo tequila, and it's got the black ant salt. Now, a lot of people are like, oh my God, black ants. No, it's good. It really is good. You get around the fact that it's the black ants. It's got a nice spice to it. It's great. Michelle even drinks it, and she doesn't mind the black ants. So she loves that one. So here's her reaction to her margarita. Michelle got her favorite margarita from La Cava. What did you get?
Top shelf.
Yeah? What do you think?
I approve.
Yeah, that's an approval. I love that woman. She's amazing. The next thing that we did was went on the Grand Fiesta Tour. Now, if you haven't done that, it's based off the Three Amigos. They kind of adjusted the way that ride kind of worked and when they added in the Three Amigos, and I think it actually enhanced that ride a lot. The screens are really, really clear. You're kind of traveling through those great sights of Mexico, and you have the Three Amigos working their way, trying to find Donald, and then at the end you have the concert, and I love it. You also get to pass through the volcano and the Mayan temple, the thing you can really only see from the San Angel Inn, and I just love the theming in the Mexico Pavilion. That inside is just awesome with that marketplace and all that, and the Grand Fiesta Tour, totally worth your time. One little thing I gotta tell you about it. Right now, they have plexiglass dividers in the line. They're a little too close together. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", and I'm broad-shouldered, and as I had to turn sideways to go through the plexiglass, and I could totally feel someone getting claustrophobic in that space. Just be very careful. If you suffer from claustrophobia, be really careful going through that queue right now. It's really tight. I mean, really tight. So just be really careful. But other than that, Grand Fiesta Tour, totally worth it. After we were done with the Mexico Pavilion, Michelle and I decided to go with our friend Daryl over to the Odyssey Pavilion on our way over to the Future World. And if you don't know where that is, if you're leaving Mexico, you're going to turn to your right if you're going counterclockwise around World Showcase. Just to let you know, Michelle and I actually normally go clockwise around World Showcase. We actually like that better. We start with Mexico and end with Canada. Most people we found actually go Canada to Mexico. I don't know why we like going the other way, but whatever. It works whichever way you want to do it. But the Odyssey Pavilion has this really, really cool display that is showing you what their plans are for Epcot. And it's a 360 screen. They put projection mapping on a model of Epcot in the center. And it's just showing you these really cool things and kind of talking about the new stuff like the Ratatouille ride and the new China movie and all kinds of other things that they're adding in there. The Play Pavilion and the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And when it was finished, we actually got to see something cool. I guess it was time for a cleaning, and they turned off all the projection mapping and just had the room. And it's all gray. It was cool. I know that's weird, but I like seeing that behind the scenes stuff, and the room was just all gray. And it had just been like filled with color. And then they turned on the lights and it was like, hi, gray room. It was so cool to know how they actually used that space to projection map. So check out the Odyssey Pavilion. That little display is pretty cool. So the next ride we went on was Test Track. Now, we love Test Track. The one thing that's missing from it right now is being able to design your own car. But, you know, besides that, we love it. I miss the old way it was done. I preferred the more realistic looking Test Track run, but the ride's still the same. They didn't change the ride very much. They just changed how it looks. They gave it more of that like computer simulation laser line look, and whatever, it still works. The ride's still fun. I love the 60 mile an hour, 65 mile an hour run at the very end of the trip, and that's great. And it was so good, I accidentally turned the camera off during the 65 mile an hour run right before we hit the sign that says we were doing 65 miles an hour. Oops. Oh well, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. It's okay. I still love the ride. The next ride only I went on is Mission Space. And I gotta tell you, I've ridden Mission Space since it was just Mission Space and there wasn't an orange and a green side, and I love it. However, that very first time I rode it, I convinced Michelle to ride it. Michelle suffers from motion sickness. She never really has motion sickness problems in Disney World, except on the teacups and Mission Space. And we learned it the hard way. Because I'm the one who convinced her. Hey, get on it. How bad could it be? It's a Disney ride, blah, blah, blah. Then you get on it, and there's barf bags. And it was bad. Not throwing up bad, but it was bad. She was sick the rest of the day. She has never gotten on it since. Won't even try the green side. So if you get motion sickness at all, don't ride Mission Space. But if you like a good thrill ride, ride Mission Space. I love it. The final ride we rode that day was the Seas with Nemo and Friends. We walked over to the Seas with Nemo and Friends. We got right onto the ride. We walked right into it. The queue is awesome. I love the way that's set up, especially since it's got a lot of flow like a river or like you're heading towards the ocean. It's so cool. And then you get on the ride, you ride your seashell, and you get to see all those awesome little spots. And it has one of the best animatronic quick sequences. There's a lot of rides that have like a fast sequence and you can kind of see the mechanics of it. But that one, I love the anglerfish part, because that anglerfish part has the anglerfish chasing after marlin. And it's pretty cool, especially since you can't really see the articulation of the device. So that I love. I also love the projections on the windows at the very end, where it actually looks like the Nemo characters are inside the big fish tank. And the Big Blue World song is fun. I love it. It's really corny. I love that corny music though. I mean, Carousel of Douglas, that's all I have to say. All right, so yeah, the Seas of Nemo and Friends, and then we went into Seabase Alpha, and there's a lot of things that weren't running, like Turtle Talk with Crush. Seabase Alpha is awesome. I really love the manatees. I love the giant fish tank. That thing is just incredible to look at. Always see Seabase Alpha. It is really awesome, and it's one of the original things from Epcot, and it still pretty much looks the same. It just has the Nemo ride leading into it now. So check out Seabase Alpha. It's pretty awesome. So that was our day in Epcot, and we headed back to Saratoga Springs. I just want to show you that view out of our window in the back again. We had a deluxe studio again, and that deluxe studio with a preferred view gave us the view of Disney Springs over that lake that's there, and that was really amazing. And we had a really good stay there at Saratoga Springs, and that room was great. Just some of my final thoughts. I love Epcot. It's the best park, in my opinion, out of all four. I was really glad that we got to do it first. We don't usually do it first, and it was amazing to be there the very first day they were there, even though we were only there for a quick trip, and doing food and wine for the first time ever. Oh my goodness, it's so great. And like I said in the food and wine review video, I normally can't go. So being able to go and doing it for the first time was so incredible. I know I didn't get to do as much food as I would have liked, but I would have been like big, fat, and stupid at the end of that. And I just loved my experience. So my and Michelle's first day in Epcot was just incredible, and I couldn't have asked for a better day. I wish it could have been longer, but I couldn't have asked for a better day. So that concludes the video today on our day 2 trip to Epcot. I hope you've enjoyed following along with me. And hey, if you liked what you saw today, I would really love it if you hit the like button. Throw a comment down. Tell me what your favorite World Showplace Pavilion is. Tell me what your favorite ride is. Tell me something. I would love to know what you love about Epcot. And if you really liked the video, hit the subscribe button. If you liked it even more, hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I make a new video. And just so you know, I don't like to say goodbye because it sounds too final to me. And I know I'm going to see you real soon. So, see ya bye. Thank you.